Hi guys, it's me, Kathy. This is HandyRU. How you guys doing? Got another Yule log. Same clothes. You're not crazy. I'm just recording a bunch. So, hope everybody's okay. I know things have been weird. And I know it's hard with, families being separated and all that kind of thing. And then I know there's a lot of weirdness going on. I want you guys to know that we're here for you, Mr. Handy and I. If you want to talk to us, feel free. And my email is Mrs. Handy, the letter R, letter U, at Comcast.net. So if you want to talk, feel free. I would love to talk to you. And anyway, so I've been thinking about Christmas. And we know it's not Jesus's birthday. We know all that stuff, but we're still going through the motions, right? I tried to change some of my decorating already. I hung up, you can't see it, but I hung up snowflakes and stars and birds on these little, like on fish line. It's just like pretty little glittery things, and I hung them up everywhere. And I have carolers up there. They could be singing other songs, right? But yeah, anyway, I know some people think I'm weird, but we didn't put up a tree. And if you put up a tree, that's fine. I just didn't want to put up a tree. And let's see. So Christmas, get back to the point. So President Trump said a bit ago, I think it's been a while now. Maybe it's over a year. I don't know. He said we'll have a great Christmas. And great can have different meanings. Great can be large or something like that. But great can also mean, I looked up the definition, so I'm not just talking out top of my head. Great can be remarkable in magnitude, degree, or effectiveness. So remarkable in magnitude, degree, or effectiveness. That was in Merriam-Webster dictionary. So I've been thinking about, the volcanoes going off all over the United States, things like that. The tsunamis that I keep thinking, they're not real, tsunamis will be all the footage, likely of the tsunami that really happened when the bad guys were doing it, over by Thailand, and I can't remember. I'm sorry if I got the area wrong. There's a lot of countries were devastated, and we know why they did it. They did it because they like melanin. They like that. Okay, so, and that leaves a lot of people, young ones, orphaned, and they like to swoop in. It's awful to talk about, I know that. But so what I'm saying is the tsunamis whatever they do, will be like a movie. We'll be seeing it on the phone, on the computer, whatever. And on the emergency kind of broadcast, I think it'll just be over and over again. We keep seeing things. It won't be just like one time. So, I don't know. We'll get through it though, right? We'll be fine. And the thing is, the best movie directors are going to be directing these movies. I even think that Alfred Hitchcock is here directing part of this movie. I've been getting a really strong feeling about Alfred Hitchcock, and I think possibly there might even be somewhere that looks like the plot of that old movie, the Birds, where the birds are all flocking around and they're trying to peck their way through the windows and coming down the chimney and all that. Oh my gosh, that's a scary movie. And yeah, so I haven't decoded that one. Maybe one of you guys could do it, work on the movie The Birds, and Tippi Hedren was in it. Yeah, Hedren, I think that was her name. Tippi. Tippy top was one of the cue phrases. They wanted President Trump to say tippy top on the boards, and he ended up saying tippy top when he was on the balcony at the White House, and everybody was all excited and like, oh wow, he's talking to, you know, Q and President Trump and whatever. And but what if it has something to do with Tippi Hedren and the birds? That's interesting, isn't it? I know it's spelled differently, but you know, her name is Tippy, but she was the star. I wonder what that's her screen name. I wonder what her birth name was. That's usually in online. You can find that out. You can find out so many things just by looking at their, you know, their stage name versus their birth name, when they were born. I mean, you can find out lots of stuff about what's really going on just by looking at those and coding them. So if you're wondering about something, just work on the person's name every which way. And like I always forget to tell new people, I'm doing gematria, whatever you want to call it, coding, and it's A equals 1 through Z equals 26. And it's Bible coding. And you can use it for Bible phrases. You can use it for things that we're saying, President Trump is saying, Juana Savin is saying, things that are written in the headlines, you know, not just headlines, newspaper articles, like farther in the body. You can use it for the name of the author of the article. Tons of ways to use this. So, okay, back to Christmas. I've been wondering if December 22nd, because then you have a 2-2 and then a 2-2, and it's getting near Christmas, and it's 1-2, 2-2, and then 2-2. And boy, February will be something, won't it? Yeah. No, it'll be the 23rd. Not the 23rd, it'll be 2023. So yeah, we already had the Tuesday, TWO, Tuesday, last February. That was all twos. So I'm wrong about this February. Okay, so like I've said before, when I was talking about Washington crossing the Delaware, the Hessians in Trenton, New Jersey, they had 3 false alarms before Washington showed up, and you know, with the army, Washington and the other generals, and I think John was there, President Trump. I think they were all there as generals. President Kennedy, everybody, because there was quite a few generals involved in this. It wasn't just General Washington. So, so they had 3 false alarms. Then they had, like I said in the last video, and I've got a whole one on this previously. There were 3 false alarms. Then the Washington winning on Christmas. It started on the Christmas Eve. They went out about, I think, about 11 o'clock. Like I've heard different things, but that's kind of a consensus. And I think it's going to be just like Q always said, think mirror. And instead of being a win like we had for the revolution, it'll be a loss. So I think it'll be a mirror of Washington crossing the Delaware, and that's why John McNaughton, who's junior, okay, everybody's junior. He can just pop in and out. He doesn't have time like we do. He can be all kinds of people at one time, I'm sure, at this point. And over long time, you know, way long time ago. So I think we're going to have 3 false alarms. And because if you think mirror about winning in Trenton, New Jersey, the first Revolutionary War battle, then we would lose. and we would have 3 false alarms, and then we would lose. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So, yeah, so I just put in, let's see, December 22. I didn't write December out. I did DEC 22. And I noticed perchance that in Jewish gematria it was 2607, and it equals ends war with Russia. Like the beginning. It could, think mirror. Okay, ends war with Russia, think mirror. Begins. Can you see your imminent destruction coming? I'm like, I don't know. Oh, all these are Jewish. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize what I had written. Okay. Can you see your imminent destruction coming? The stress becomes overwhelming. What is the function of psychological shock? Lying president, written 3 times in a row. Lying president. And this is a funny one. John Kennedy, sexiest man alive. Now that was a Time magazine cover with his picture on it. Okay, psychological shock. So he's involved, right? He's letting us know, yeah, I'm behind all this. Simple repentance work on your heart. That's what people will be doing, right? We've talked about that a lot, that they won't get what's going on, and they'll be thinking, help me God, help me Jesus, and they will repent and all kinds of things. It will be intense. So in simple gematria, December DEC 22 is top of your game, which, let's see. Oh, it's similar to Tom's channel. I don't think it's exactly. I think his channel might be at the top of your game. But President Trump has said top of your game several times. And so when you think about it, it was at the last few rallies, so it's current. And that equals DEC 22. Okay, so, and it equals 177. I didn't tell you. And that equals a Q phrase, from dark to light. John Washington, kind of like, you know, George Washington and John were both there. Midnight tonight matches DEC 22. Turning point, all according to plan. 4th of July, and I'm thinking fireworks in the sky. Earthquake Kelly. Now there must have been an earthquake that they named Kelly for it to end up on this, you know, on this list. But the key thing is earthquake. Shake, SHAKE, experts in INC Incorporated. Shake experts, INC Incorporated. They're going to make you feel this. I think everybody's going to feel it and hear it. It's going to be amazing. Light warriors. So you have lights in the sky, but you got warriors. Beyond Star Trek. And at the end, I mean, I'm going to go on to more, let's see, is it right here? Sorry about the paper. Yeah, I've got more. But at the end of all this, we're going to give up. That's definitely what I think is going to happen, because if we won on Christmas Day, I think we're going to give up. And if it's not that day, soon afterwards. There were 10 days, oh my gosh, I won't get the name right, but there was 10 days starting on the 24th or 25th. It ended with January 3rd, and they were the 10 important days, and that's not the right phrase, but there were 10 days that were decisive in the Revolutionary War in 1776. And it could be 10 days of this. I don't know. Let's see. DEC, I decided to do it all the same way to be consistent. DEC 23, so the 23rd. Let's see. Jewish gematria, it was 1755, and it's beginning of apocalypse event. Woe, W-O-E, to you. And one had a whole, I don't know if you call it an episode, but he included in that what a woe meant in biblical times. And it's like, you know, when Jesus or John or whatever said, woe to you, it meant that, for example, like your city is overrun. They've taken all your children. They've done things to the wives. And that was what they called a woe, you know, W-O-E. So, yeah, woe to you, bad. It would look really bad if that's what they chose to show us on, you know, our movie. Then I did DEC 23. That's 175. And that's Jacqueline Kennedy. Hi, Jackie. The Great Deception. A storm is coming. In the blink of an eye. In God we trust. Plasma Apocalypse. Diana Frances Spencer. So we have Jackie and Diana in this one. They're all behind it. I shouldn't just say Juan is, the John Jr., Joe, is behind this. They all are. President Trump, all of them. Okay. Great Depression. And that just means everybody be so upset. Misinformation, because it won't be real. It's almost time. So December DEC 23, it's almost time. Sorry, my paper's sliding everywhere. And, yeah, that's good. Then I did one more date. So, of course, I did DEC 24. And in Jewish gematria, it's 1893. And it equals directed energy weapons dishonorably discharged from the military. And I looked at that as discharging weapons, not just discharged from the military. Reality versus truth, VS versus, let's see, in simple gematria, DEC 24, 179, it equals on the brink of war. So that's Christmas Eve. On the brink of war. I say that weird. I know I do. You've been warned. They are about to get exterminated. That's a bad one. Don't hug me. I'm scared. It is happening again. Wayne Willott. And that's 107. Saban used to call as Wayne Willott before he became W. And you have all these double letters in Wayne Willott. If you haven't noticed, there's two W's. There's, what is it? Two L's. There's two T's. So it's a reference to President Kennedy is a twin of our junior, and who, I always say it weird, Joseph Patrick died in World War II, and he came back to life as John F. Kennedy Jr., reincarnated. Okay, then I did DEC 25, Christmas Day, 161. At the end of the day. Now, how many times have we heard Juan O'Savin say that? That's a popular phrase with him. At the end of the day, and he'll go on, well, that equals basically December 25, DEC 25, 161. It equals Law of War Manual, which Tom and a guest, I can't remember his name, were talking about they were talking about military comms, and it's fascinating. You should watch it if you missed it. This guy is so smart. And he discussed the Law of War Manual in great detail. It was about a week ago, if you want to watch it on, it's not Psych Club, but it's the Tom Numbers show. Okay, let's see, DEC 25-161, greatest event. What's happening? Combined powers. Hellfire missile. Release the Kraken. Sound of silence. It would be like everybody, it'll probably look like all the cities are wiped out. Everything's just in chaos, burning. And it'll look like maybe they'll just have cameras that still work. They'll say, you know, and, you know, there's no life left and all that. Shall we play a game? I think I've already done this. Well, it was the last video. Shock the world. Expiration date. Super soldier. All about chaos, war, bad stuff. So that was for DEC 25 Christmas. So that's intense. What do you think? Yeah, that was pretty intense. So I'm sorry I don't want to depress you guys. I just want you guys to be prepared, you know. And if I'm wrong, that's fine, I guess. But I know they're not going to wipe out the country. They're not going to wipe out cities. We know that. And we know who's in charge. So I'm not going to worry about it. I just don't like loud noises. Let's see. Oh, and okay. Simon Stanhope on Bitesized Audio Classics that I'm talking about probably every other episode. It was it was on December 2nd. If you want to look, go to his homepage, and on the top columns, go to probably the fourth one over the categories, and it's at the top, and it'll say community. Look at community, and you'll see what he posted. And he doesn't usually do this at all. All full of double talk, just like President Trump. It's so fun. And this is Junior. I'm sure it's Junior, this one. Hello, listeners. I'm just going to read it. As we enter December, I wanted to give you a little preview of what's coming. Up on the channel. What preview of what's coming? November has been an exceptionally busy month. Exceptionally busy month for me. So I'd like to, and then I skipped some. However, I have been working behind the scenes on some Christmas stories, like not real stories. Now he narrates ghost stories usually. And he's the one that did the Christmas carols so beautifully, which I've been listening to over and over and getting new things every time I hear it. He said, the largest plum in the festive pudding will be an entertaining seasonal tale by one of the great Victorian novelists, Christmas at Thompson Hall by Anthony Trollope. And then he had a picture. Was requested quite some time ago by a listener. And then he put the listener's handle, capital N, capital W, and an F. I'll tell you what that is in a minute. I'm glad we've finally been able to get around to recording the movie that we're going to see. It's longer than my regular uploads, running at just under 2 hours. When these alarms hit and everybody thinks there's chemical or NUKEs and all that, attacks, missiles, whatever, they will be running. The streets will be full. Let's see. And just under 2 hours. Now, could the videos you see each day be 2 hours? I don't know. But it's in the can. And I hope to set aside some time, like that's a movie talk for getting the movie done. Hope to set aside some time next week to edit and process it like mentally process what's going on with a view to uploading by mid-December. We're almost in mid-December, you guys. By the time you see this, it might be mid-December. I mean, I record these at one time, so I'm not sure what day. In the meantime, I also have another classic detective story in the pipeline, like gas pipelines, whatever, sabotage maybe. A murder mystery set on a train, like Juan was talking about the Orient Express. Maybe the trains will look like they're sabotaged and all the freight gets shut down. That's just my thought. The Unseen Hand features Paul Beck, and then in quotes, the rule of thumb detective, created by McDonald Bodkin in 1897. In addition, I'm hoping to do at least one, possibly two, ghost stories for Christmas, although I'm not sharing details yet, as the exact stories, I put stories, remains subject to change, depending on time and circumstances. Last year, Christmas plans were disrupted by events. Now, he didn't say the CV and all that kind of thing, but he doesn't need to. He kind of is referring to that, but he's also talking about this Christmas. Now, that's what I think. Christmas plans disrupted by events. You could just pull that out of the sentence. So I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So just take out promise and deliver out of that sentence. Better to sneak in an unexpected story if possible. So watch this space as an outer space, right? As an outer space, comets colliding with Earth or aliens or who knows what. Thanks as always for listening and for your likes and comments. I really appreciate your support. I hope you enjoy the December offerings. Best wishes, Simon. So I was really tired when I worked on this one. It's so scribbly. Okay, where is my, oh, here it is. NWF is who requested the first one that I mentioned, that requested a story that he would do. NWF is 43, and it equals, let's see, Todd, and that's Junior called Channel 5 in Boston when Junior's plane was missing and they were searching for the plane, the Coast Guard, and he called as a representative for the Coast Guard from a ship, and he called as Todd Bergun, Bergun, and I heard it when it happened. I was in Massachusetts at the time. And let's see, so NWF 43 also equals he lied and acts, ACTS, like he's acting. It equals woe. We already went into what the woes were when it happens to people in the area, how bad it was. Joe M, right? Joe Massapose, who did the Q Plan to Save the World series. Yale. So Yale is where Joseph Patrick went to Yale, and he was in the Hasty Pudding Club. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Juan, Joe M, same person. Joseph Patrick, all the same person. JFK Jr., all the same person. Let's see. So I already told you what I thought the Christmas stories behind the scenes were. And yeah, I already told you running in the can. In the can is 74, and it is Messiah and Jesus. Then we have all these are each 74. Simple, English, Jewish, and Gematria all are 74. They're all important. I mean, there's so many ways to do Gematria. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever know all of them, but maybe when my brain's upgraded. It equals energy. It equals tarot. Hi, tarot by Janine. And let's see, point. And President Trump is like the king of pointing. That's, you know, he's always pointing at people. It's 74, so that's Jesus and all those. So I told you behind the scenes. And yeah, December pipeline. I told you I should have just read it and not decoded all this because I have the decoding afterwards. Let's see, pipeline is 86. So besides, you know, pipelines being sabotaged, and like oil shortage and all that kind of thing, or gas. Let's see, pipeline's 86 and it equals warning. And madhouse, shocking, basket case. Now, I'm one of the few people on the earth, I think, that knows what the phrase basket case means. And I learned this quite a while ago. Basket case was, maybe it was Victorian times, maybe it was way before that. It's from when they'd say there was an accident and the person couldn't be saved, and they couldn't take them. Maybe they didn't even have stretchers, but things were so bad that they had to put whatever was remaining after whatever happened in a basket. Okay, that's what a basket case means. Aren't you glad you know that? Let's see, what else is pipeline? Black moon. So we've got another reference to the eclipse I'm always telling you will happen. And let's see, anthrax in organics. So I think it'll look like food is poisoned. We've talked about that a lot. Let's see, the unseen hand. The unseen hand is one of the stories that he wants to put out, that Simon Stanhope wants to put out in December, supposedly. And in Jewish gematria, it's 546, and it equals let's do this Q. I think that's what they mean. Santa Claus, sneaky quarantine to the lifeboats because of flooding and all that stuff. Read the riot act. It might look like riots are happening. Acoustics, and I'm thinking, okay, that makes sense because we'll hear it. And prepare for Elenin, which is a comet. Okay, and then in simple gematria, it's Donald Trump, 138. It's happening, and so it begins. Enjoy the ride, trust us. The internet, right? Lockheed Martin, they're associated to military planes. Misdirection, strike 3, submissive, like giving up, right? So when it looks like, in my opinion, I mean, I'm always giving you stuff that I know, that I've worked on. And I always tell you that if I am not the one that figured something out, I'll tell you who did. But these are all my suppositions and my work. So if I'm wrong, it's all my fault, you know. Let's see. Christmas at Thompson Hall, which is another story from Simon Stanhope on Bitesized Audio Classics that he'll be doing, equals sun, moon, black sun, Polaris. And I think that we're what looks like Polaris, the North Star. And if you look at Goj Vlamaste, Godgevlamaste, you'll just look at the first 4 or 5 episodes of Crater Earth. That's all you have to look up is Crater, Crater, Earth, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And Christmas at Thompson Hall equals, it's 284, I don't think I told you. Decode Patrick Bouvier Kennedy. So we've got Patrick in here. Joseph. Let's see. No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said Joseph. Patrick Bouvier Kennedy was Prince Anthony Radziwill, Radziwell. So he was brought up. He didn't die in the hospital, like they say, and he was brought up by Jackie's sister, Lee Radziwill. And let's see. And the story is supposed to be by Anthony Trollope. And there's an Anthony in there, so it's interesting because we have Patrick Bouvier Kennedy for the name of the story, then for the author of the story, Anthony Trollope, Trollope. There's an Anthony. It's supposed to be his first name. Okay. And he was a movie director. He was a producer. I don't think he was a director. He was a producer. I can't remember. Sorry, Anthony. Hi. And I hope you enjoyed the December offerings. December offerings is 154 and it equals plot twist. So just when you think you know what's going on, that's not what's going to happen, and we're going to lose. So everybody thinks that the big stuff's going to happen, like a fake attack and all that, and a fake war even, some people think, like I do. It is fake, but they're not thinking that we're going to lose. And that's what I've been thinking, that we're going to lose. Look like we're going to lose because it's all pretend, and then something will happen, which I haven't gotten to yet. But I think March 4th will be... March 4th in 2023, I think possibly could be when we see the new inauguration, because that was the original inauguration under the Constitution. And I've gotten things about March 4th quite a bit, off and on. Let's see. Paul Beck. Okay, he was the rule of thumb detective, and can't remember. Oh yeah, the rule of thumb detective, and I did. Okay, wait a minute. Death in December. Okay, Paul Beck is the author. It's 71 in simple gematria. It equals Japanese, target, toxic, bunker, firearms. Death in December. His heart. I think it. When President Trump it looks like he's arrested, it might look like his heart gives out, like an Epstein situation, and he won't be gone, but it'll look like he's gone. Let's see. See, breathe, which means he'll be alive. And secure matches, like he's secure. So the rule of thumb detective is so funny. Oh, I don't have the number. Well, for one thing, it equals Thanksgiving, which we just had a little bit ago. Reincarnation, Mr. President, final moments. Here's Johnny. It's 140. Simple gematria, rule of thumb. And it equals me, Mrs. HandyRU. Isn't that cool? So Mr. President, here's Johnny. St. Patrick I left out. Let's see. I did December 24. I already did these. So I'm not going to bore you with this. So I've got that. What else do I have that's interesting? I have all kinds of things about Christmas. Christmas coding has been like intense. And there was this song that I never used to like it. I'm getting hoarse, sorry. Never used to like it. John Lennon and Yoko Ono. So This Is Christmas, I think is the name of it. And they're singing, war is over now. You know, I can't sing. And so think mirror, right? Like Hugh says, the opposite, the beginning of the fake war. So this is Christmas. That's the song. Another year older, and then they start singing the chorus, war is over now. Mirror that. And John and Yoko are in a Clouseau video, live. I think it's stage right. If I'm trying to picture it. In a Clouseau video, Clouseeau, one S. I'm always telling you about that. They're live and they're, I can't remember. I think they're stage right, but they're in the title. I'm pretty sure they're in the title. So, and I watched Bells of St. Mary's the other day. I watch that every year. It's free on YouTube. It's an old black and white with Bing Crosby and Ingrid Bergman. And Bells of St. Mary's is so cute. It's about nuns who are running a school, and Bing Crosby comes along and he's helping, he's in charge. I can't remember what it, anyway, so he's in charge, and they're kind of running it, not really him up to a point. So I wrote just a little bit of what happened down, because when I watch things like this, I keep it on, so my cursor is up on the video, so you can see the seconds go by on YouTube. You can do it on your phone or on the computer, and at certain timestamps, you'll just see they're talking about things that are important, like 35 is kind of like President Kennedy, 46 is Juan. On the fives, as I call it, if it's like, 5:20 or 5 minutes or something like that, it's comms. Or if you see something that's at 5:50, that's like Junior, it's JFK JR, it's Melania. Sorry about the train. The Trump train's going by. And let's see. Okay, so it's Bing Crosby, Ingrid Bergman. So she says to this little boy, Ingrid Bergman, she's a nun, and she's teaching him to box. And because he's been getting in fights, and she wants him to be able to not get hurt. So she says, it's nice of you coming in on a Saturday. So anyway, so Saturday's mentioned. So she's talking to Eddie. I mean, you could decode so many things in here. You could do, Eddie, all kinds of things. But I think it's a reference to the war and the nuclear things that will look like they're happening, or chemical coming in, like missiles or something. She says, I can't do much in this collar, because she had she had a habit on with a very high collar. It's from the mid 40s, I think, or 46, maybe 1946. I can't do much in this collar. Well, I'm thinking, like I said before, that the witnesses will be in chains, and they might even have a chain around their neck. And then the beast comes and they're thrown off the ship. That's what I'm thinking. So at, let's see, 34:50, she said, keep your mouth closed. She said that twice in a row. And that to me is like they're going under the water because the beast thing is happening and they're thrown off. Keep your mouth closed. Well, she's telling him to keep his mouth closed so he doesn't get his jaw sideways, and she said, payoff many times. Like, that's the payoff. Well, I think after this event that I'm always talking about, the beast event, that partly it's a reference to the GCR, the global currency reset, because it's payoff literally, but it's also after the event that happens at some point. I think everybody's healed. That's what I'm thinking. But for the moment, until that happens, I would really like to get a spooky too. So I forgot to ask you guys to please contribute, because Mr. Handy's going through a very difficult time, and they've kind of like just put him on I don't even know how to describe it. It's still treatment, but it's not a chemo. It's not anything like that. And it's like they're not doing that much. And it's not good. And so anyway, I've looked into Spooky 2, which is a Rife machine. And I really want to get one. And I'm hoping you guys can help me get one. It's super expensive though. So even if everybody contributed a little tiny bit, I think if everybody did it, we'd be able to make it, you know. But it's been, the FDA did approve it for brain cancer, which is what he has. And anyway, I don't want to go into it, but I have links at the end of the video if you guys could help. So I don't want to get all upset. Okay. And then at 36:05, she says, that's enough for the first lesson. And at 36, when you reverse it, is 63. And that was our first lesson of, you know, they're trying to show us, when it all comes out, they're going to show us that JFK and all the people above him and with him planned this whole fake attack on 11/22/63. Like I said, this is 36. You reverse it at 63. And it was a 5, so it's comms, 05. And let's see. I forgot everything. I had my mouth open because the little boy smacked her right in the jaw. So she had her mouth open. So it's kind of a funny part. And she's laughing. And I'm wondering if they're also referring to that we forgot our past lives. So that could be another. And then she said, I forgot to bob, like bob and weave. And it's so weird because every time I see Bob, I think of Bob, my husband, you know, Mr. Handy. And that's been a very, you know, anyway. Let's see. Man is endowed with certain powers. This came on at a 5, so it was 39:15. When a meadow, and then they started singing, when a meadow lark appears, aren't you glad you have 2 ears? And aren't you glad you're you? So that's a really cute song. But Meadowlark, and Junior was a lark. His code name was, oh gosh, what was his code name? It wasn't Lark. Was it Lark? Yeah, it was Lark. Is a sparrow? I can't remember, but it Lark. And then at 52:53, okay, so you've got 53, reverse it to 35, and then they're talking, okay, they changed scenes, and they're watching a rehearsal of a Christmas play with very young kids, like kind of preschool age kids, doing the manger scene. And the little boy says, it'll be better at Christmas, just like that. He's like 4 years old. And he's little Bobby, and he says it to the Father O'Malley and Mother Superior. So you got a father and a mother. And then he said at 53:20, Bing Crosby, do it in front of their parents. They'll probably forget everything. And yeah, do it in front of their parents. Like, yeah, I think, well, there's a lot of ways to look at that one, but in front of their parents, I think what they could be meaning is we're going to see all these things with the kids. You know what I mean? Like the bad stuff. Also, you could look at it as like the whole family will be in one room watching what's going on. I don't think you can protect the kids from this stuff. I think it's going to just be burned in everybody's brains, and it won't ever happen again. And then Jimmy says, you're in the play. Wait, to Jimmy, you're in the play. Go back. Like time travel. I thought that was interesting. And we're in a movie. Let's see. And Father O'Malley says to this man, Mr. Bogardus. I think you'll find him quite forgiving. They'll all have cars. You'll be surprised what it cost me, says Mr. Bogardus. I can't sleep now. I mean, they're all kind of disjointed statements because I didn't write everything, but they'll all have cars. He's talking about a parking lot. He wants to take the school that the nuns are running over for a parking lot for his business next door. So he wants their building and they want his building for the new school. It's kind of confusing, but so they'll all have cars, and you'll be surprised what it cost me. I can't sleep now. What it cost me, like what, anyway. So, can't sleep now. I don't think we're going to sleep when all this is done. I don't think we need sleep anymore. Let's see. Another sister says, incidentally, for the time, they were talking about the young girls going through their kind of middle school graduation or junior high. And incidentally, for the first time, they're wearing high heels. That's a shoe com. And it was at 1:15:32. 32 is Eve. I mean, in reverse, it's 23W, but so Diana is in low heels when she's Melania. This is what I'm figuring. And Jackie is in the very high stiletto heels. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I got way too much stuff. So you're just going to keep seeing me in the same clothes. Get used to it. I'm not going to change. I'm tired. So anyway, if you guys can contribute to my Spooky 2 Rife Machine situation, I would really appreciate it. And ways to help are at the bottom of the video description, the little arrow, little check if you've never looked at it. Anyway, thanks a lot, you guys. Take care. I love you. Bye.